Ladies and gentlemen, friends, fellow humans, let me ask you a tough question. Why do we keep doing the things we know are holding us back? Why do we keep making the same mistakes, giving into the same excuses, and falling for the same traps, all while telling ourselves we want to grow? Let's cut straight to it. It's time to stop being stupid. Facing reality and taking responsibility is a foundational step in personal growth and a necessary requirement for achieving lasting change. At its core, this means looking at our lives honestly without excuse or blame and admitting where we may be falling short. It requires a willingness to assess the gap between where we are and where we want to be and to own the choices and actions that have contributed to our current state. This isn't always easy. In fact, it's one of the hardest aspects of self-improvement because it often involves coming face to face with uncomfortable truths and acknowledging our role in creating them. But the power of taking responsibility is that it shifts us from being passive recipients of circumstances to active participants in our lives, reclaiming control over our destiny. When we fail to face reality, we often hide behind excuses, avoiding situations that might reveal painful truths about our habits, choices, or even our character. We might tell ourselves that we're stuck in a particular job because there are no other options, or that we haven't pursued our dreams because life got in the way, but these are just stories we create to rationalize inaction, fear, or discomfort. By taking responsibility, we start dismantling these stories and begin seeing them for what they are: barriers that we've built ourselves. This process isn't about blaming ourselves, but about empowering ourselves to see things clearly. Once we acknowledge that we've contributed to our current state, we also open the door to making different choices, setting boundaries, and most importantly, taking action to change things. Facing reality also means accepting that no one is coming to do the work for us. Success, happiness, and fulfillment are all things we have to create for ourselves, and this requires consistent, sometimes uncomfortable effort. When we take responsibility, we stop waiting for circumstances or other people to fix things. We stop relying on luck or hoping that things will just work out. Instead, we actively seek solutions, explore new paths, and create opportunities. This shift in perspective is incredibly liberating because it makes us accountable to ourselves. If we don't like something about our lives, we know we have the power to change it by changing our choices, our mindset, or our approach. Responsibility also allows us to shift our focus from what's out of our control to what we can directly influence. We can't control the behavior of others, the economy, or every situation life throws at us, but we can control how we respond to them. Taking responsibility means recognizing that while we can't always change external events, we can always change our attitude, our approach, and our mindset. When we focus on what we can control, we become resilient, adaptable, and far less affected by obstacles. We start to approach challenges with a mindset that says, I can handle this, rather than feeling defeated before we've even started. This shift is not only empowering, but often leads to surprising solutions and breakthroughs that might never have appeared if we hadn't taken ownership of our lives. Another significant part of taking responsibility is recognizing our past mistakes without shame or regret, but as valuable learning experiences. No one gets through life without making errors in judgment, and these moments can either be sources of wisdom or obstacles, depending on how we choose to view them. When we take responsibility, we can look at our mistakes objectively, asking ourselves what we can learn from them, rather than trying to bury or ignore them. This process of self-reflection and learning fosters growth and enables us to make better choices moving forward. In the end, facing reality and taking responsibility transforms us from passive participants in our lives to empowered individuals who understand that we are the authors of our story. It gives us a sense of purpose, focus, and resilience that allows us to overcome challenges and pursue our dreams with clarity and conviction. We stop being bound by the limitations of the past or by excuses and instead become the driving force behind our own growth. Taking responsibility is a continuous process that requires constant self-awareness, honesty, and a commitment to improving. But as challenging as it can be, the reward is a life of fulfillment, confidence, and the knowledge that no matter what happens, we have the power to create the future we want. Identifying self-defeating habits is one of the most crucial steps in achieving lasting personal growth and success. These habits are often so ingrained in our daily lives that they go unnoticed, quietly sabotaging our progress, dreams, and happiness. They are the behaviors, patterns, and thought processes that prevent us from reaching our potential, and they operate almost like silent roadblocks, holding us back without us even realizing it. Breaking free from these habits begins with awareness, bringing them into the light, understanding their roots, and consciously deciding to replace them with healthier, more constructive behaviors. Self-defeating habits can take many forms, from procrastination and self-doubt to negative self-talk and perfectionism. These habits are typically formed as coping mechanisms in response to past experiences, insecurities, or fears. For example, if someone grew up in an environment where they were constantly criticized, they might develop a habit of being overly self-critical to avoid future disappointment or rejection. They might even believe that by setting impossibly high standards, they are protecting themselves from failure. However, in reality, this habit often has the opposite effect, creating a cycle of fear and self-doubt that prevents them from fully embracing opportunities. Procrastination is another common self-defeating habit that many people struggle with. We put off tasks that seem overwhelming, uncomfortable, or that require a level of effort we're not yet ready to give. Although procrastination offers a temporary sense of relief, it ultimately leads to stress, decreased productivity, and often a sense of guilt. This habit is self-defeating because it undermines our goals and keeps us from achieving the things we set out to do. At its core, procrastination often stems from a fear of failure or perfectionism. We avoid taking action because we're worried we won't perform well enough. But the result is that we never start and our dreams remain unrealized. Negative self-talk is another powerful self-defeating habit. The way we speak to ourselves internally shapes our self-image, confidence, and overall outlook on life. If we constantly tell ourselves, "I'm not good enough," or "I always mess things up," these thoughts become self-fulfilling prophecies. We begin to internalize these beliefs, and they influence our actions, often causing us to avoid taking risks or pursuing new opportunities. By allowing these thoughts to dominate, we limit ourselves, even if we have the potential to achieve much more. Overcoming negative self-talk requires us to become mindful of these thoughts, question their validity, and consciously replace them with empowering statements. Changing this internal dialogue can be a gradual process, but the benefits are profound as it helps to cultivate self-belief and resilience. Perfectionism, though sometimes mistaken for a positive trait, is another self-defeating habit that can hinder personal growth. Perfectionists set impossibly high standards for themselves, often pushing themselves to exhaustion to meet these unrealistic expectations. However, perfectionism often leads to paralysis by analysis, where the fear of not achieving flawless results prevents action altogether. This habit is self-defeating because it shifts focus from progress and growth to an unattainable ideal, leading to frustration, disappointment, and even burnout. To overcome perfectionism, it's essential to embrace the idea that progress is more valuable than perfection. Accepting that mistakes are a natural part of growth allows us to take action and learn along the way, rather than waiting for the perfect moment or conditions. Another common self-defeating habit is comparing ourselves to others. In today's world, with social media and constant exposure to others' lives, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparison. We see others' successes, achievements, and lifestyles and measure ourselves against them. This habit is harmful because it breeds feelings of inadequacy and dissatisfaction. When we constantly compare ourselves to others, we lose sight of our unique strengths, values, and goals. Overcoming this habit requires a shift in focus from external validation to internal fulfillment. Instead of comparing ourselves to others, we can choose to focus on our personal progress, celebrating our unique journey and the milestones we achieve along the way. This shift allows us to cultivate a sense of self-worth that isn't dependent on external benchmarks. Self-defeating habits can also manifest as people-pleasing behaviors. This habit often stems from a fear of rejection or a desire to avoid conflict. People pleasers go out of their way to accommodate others, sometimes at the expense of their own well-being, goals, or values. While being considerate is a positive trait, constantly prioritizing others' needs over our own can lead to burnout, resentment, and a loss of identity. Overcoming this habit requires learning to set boundaries and recognize that it's okay to say no. By respecting our own needs and values, we can build healthier relationships and a stronger sense of self. So how do we begin to identify these self-defeating habits? The process starts with self-reflection and mindfulness. Taking time to observe our behaviors, thoughts, and emotions can reveal patterns we might otherwise overlook. Journaling is a powerful tool for this. Writing down our daily experiences, emotions, and thoughts can help us notice recurring themes. For example, if we frequently write about feeling overwhelmed, we might realize that procrastination is a factor. By reflecting on why we feel the way we do in certain situations, we can trace these emotions back to specific habits and start to understand their origins. Once we've identified a self-defeating habit, it's essential to be compassionate with ourselves. Breaking long-standing habits takes time, effort, and patience. Rather than criticizing ourselves, we can choose to view this process as a journey of growth. It's also helpful to replace self-defeating habits with healthier alternatives. For instance, if procrastination is an issue, we can set small, achievable goals that help build momentum and confidence. If negative self-talk is holding us back, practicing positive affirmations or gratitude can help shift our mindset. Overcoming self-defeating habits is a powerful step toward personal empowerment. By identifying and addressing these habits, we free ourselves from limitations and open up to new possibilities, progress, and success. Recognizing these behaviors allows us to take back control of our lives, nurturing a mindset and lifestyle that aligns with our aspirations and values. The process requires effort and patience, but the rewards, growth, self-confidence, and fulfillment are more than worth it. Getting clear on your true goals is one of the most empowering actions you can take in life. It's about understanding what you genuinely want, rather than following paths set by others' expectations, society's standards, or temporary desires. When you get clear on your true goals, you're setting a foundation that helps you focus, make confident decisions, and pursue a life that's deeply fulfilling and aligned with your values. Clarity of purpose acts as a compass that guides you through challenges, distractions, and doubts, keeping you aligned with a vision that resonates with who you truly are. Many people drift through life without fully understanding what they're working toward, often following goals that seem desirable on the surface but don't genuinely satisfy them. These default goals might include societal milestones like achieving a certain job title, getting a particular degree, or owning specific material possessions. While there's nothing inherently wrong with these pursuits, the key is to question if they're truly your goals, not just things you believe you should pursue because of external influences. Getting clear on your true goals involves digging deeper to understand what will bring you fulfillment, joy, and a sense of accomplishment on your own terms. This process of uncovering true goals requires self-reflection. You have to take the time to understand yourself, your strengths, interests, values, and dreams. Asking yourself questions like, what makes me feel alive? Or what do I want to contribute to the world can lead to insights about your true passions and values. These questions encourage you to look beyond superficial aspirations and focus on what genuinely excites and motivates you. Reflecting on moments in your life when you felt most fulfilled or engaged can also help reveal patterns that indicate your true interests and priorities. Once you begin to uncover your true goals, it's important to be specific. General goals like I want to be successful or I want to be happy are too vague to serve as effective guideposts. Instead, focus on defining exactly what success or happiness looks like for you. Is it building a business, contributing to a particular cause, or creating a certain lifestyle? The more clearly you can articulate your goals, the easier it becomes to create a roadmap and make decisions that lead you toward them. A specific goal gives you a clear destination to work toward and helps you set smaller, actionable steps. Another crucial part of getting clear on your true goals is understanding your why. Knowing why a goal matters to you gives it purpose and significance, which are vital for staying motivated. For example, if your goal is to start a nonprofit, the why could be your desire to make a meaningful impact on a cause you're passionate about. If you want to pursue a career in the arts, perhaps it's because you feel most connected to yourself when you're creating. Whatever your reasons, connecting to the deeper purpose behind your goals helps you maintain focus when challenges arise. A strong why can keep you motivated and persistent, even in the face of setbacks. Distractions are inevitable, and without a clear vision, it's easy to get sidetracked by opportunities or ideas that seem appealing but don't align with your true goals. When you're clear on what you want, it becomes easier to say no to things that don't serve your purpose. This clarity allows you to conserve your energy and resources for actions and decisions that move you closer to your desired outcome. Every decision you make becomes a step toward achieving your vision, and you're less likely to feel overwhelmed or scattered by conflicting priorities. As you move toward your true goals, it's also important to remain flexible and open to growth. Sometimes as you pursue a goal, you gain new insights or experiences that shift your perspective. Being clear on your goals doesn't mean rigidly clinging to a plan if it no longer serves you. Instead, it's about staying true to the essence of what you want while allowing space for adjustments along the way. Regularly revisiting and reevaluating your goals helps you stay aligned with your evolving self, ensuring that your actions continue to reflect your values and aspirations. In summary, getting clear on your true goals is a process of self-discovery, specificity, and purpose. It requires you to look inward, define what success and fulfillment mean to you, and identify the deeper reasons behind your ambitions. With this clarity, you gain direction and focus, making it easier to navigate life's choices and challenges. Clarity transforms goals from abstract wishes into actionable objectives that guide your daily actions, creating a life that feels meaningful, purposeful, and uniquely yours. Taking immediate and consistent action is a vital component of achieving any goal or ambition. Yet it's often where many people struggle the most. Despite knowing what we want and having a clear vision, we often hesitate, waiting for the right time or the perfect circumstances to begin. However, progress doesn't come from waiting or preparing endlessly. It comes from taking action right here, right now. Immediate action means starting even when you feel uncertain or imperfectly prepared, while consistent action ensures that you continue moving forward step by step until your goal becomes a reality. Together, these two forces can transform your life, bringing your dreams closer and closer to fruition. The first hurdle to taking immediate action is overcoming the fear of imperfection. Often we hesitate to start because we fear failing or not doing things perfectly right from the beginning. This mindset keeps us trapped in inaction as we wait for circumstances to align or for ourselves to feel more capable. However, perfection is often an illusion, and in most cases, waiting for the perfect moment is simply a way of delaying. Instead, taking immediate action requires a shift in thinking. Instead of aiming for perfection from the outset, we should focus on progress. Even if the initial steps aren't flawless, each action taken brings valuable experience, builds confidence, and propels us forward. By taking that first imperfect step, you break through the initial inertia, and with each successive step, you build momentum. Consistency, on the other hand, is what transforms small, initial efforts into significant achievements. Imagine you want to become proficient in a skill, such as learning a new language or training for a marathon. It's not enough to put in a few hours of practice one day and then abandon it for weeks. Instead, consistent action means dedicating a small amount of time regularly, even if it's only 15 minutes each day. Consistency helps build habits, and habits create results. Small, regular efforts accumulate over time, often yielding better outcomes than sporadic bursts of intense work. By taking consistent action, you're not only improving your skills, but also reinforcing your commitment to the goal, which can boost motivation and increase the likelihood of success. An essential part of taking action is setting up small, achievable milestones. Large goals can feel overwhelming, making it hard to even know where to start. But breaking them down into manageable tasks makes them more accessible and less daunting. For example, if your goal is to write a book, the idea of completing hundreds of pages might feel intimidating. Instead, focus on writing a page a day or a chapter a week. By completing small tasks regularly, you're creating a tangible path toward your goal. Each milestone you reach serves as a reminder of your progress, providing encouragement to keep moving forward. Taking immediate and consistent action also builds resilience. When you start taking steps toward your goals, you'll inevitably encounter obstacles, setbacks, and challenges. However, if you're committed to continuous action, you develop the mental toughness needed to overcome these hurdles. Each challenge becomes an opportunity to learn, adapt, and grow. By consistently showing up and pushing through difficulties, you're training yourself to be persistent. The ability to push forward, regardless of circumstances, is a trait shared by many successful people, as they understand that success isn't about never failing, it's about getting up every time you fall. Another benefit of immediate and consistent action is that it allows you to test, refine, and adjust your approach. It's rare to have a flawless plan from the beginning, so taking action enables you to gather feedback and insights along the way. For instance, if you're launching a new product or business, putting it out there and taking immediate steps lets you understand what works and what doesn't. You can learn from customers' reactions, make adjustments, and improve your offerings. This process of testing and refining, made possible by consistent action, increases your chances of long-term success. Without this feedback loop, you risk wasting time on plans that may not be effective. Accountability is another key element in maintaining consistent action. When you hold yourself accountable, or even better, when someone else holds you accountable, you're more likely to stay on track. You can build accountability by setting deadlines, sharing your goals with a friend or mentor, or joining a group of like-minded individuals. Knowing that someone else is aware of your goals can encourage you to stay committed, even when motivation wanes. Similarly, tracking your progress, whether through a journal, an app, or a planner, creates a visual record of your efforts and reminds you of the progress you're making. Immediate and consistent action is also crucial for building confidence and self-trust. Every time you take a step toward your goal, no matter how small, you're proving to yourself that you're capable. Over time, this builds a foundation of confidence. Each completed task reinforces a positive self-image. I am someone who takes action and gets things done. This self-belief becomes a powerful motivator in itself, fueling further action and building momentum. Additionally, consistent action cultivates discipline. Discipline is the ability to stay focused on long-term goals, even when you don't feel like putting in the effort. There will be days when motivation dips or when you feel tired, but discipline enables you to push through these moments and take action regardless. Consistency nurtures this discipline, transforming it from an occasional effort into a habit. And as discipline grows, so does your ability to achieve larger and more ambitious goals as you become someone who can persevere despite the ups and downs of the journey. Ultimately, taking immediate and consistent action turns dreams into reality. It bridges the gap between knowing and doing, turning ideas and aspirations into tangible results. By making a commitment to act today and then repeating that commitment each day, you move forward in a way that's both sustainable and effective. Each step builds on the last, creating a sense of momentum that propels you closer to your goal, rather than waiting for the perfect time you created through your actions. In summary, taking immediate and consistent action requires overcoming the fear of imperfection, establishing small milestones, building resilience, and nurturing accountability, discipline, and confidence. These elements work together to create a framework that sustains your motivation, keeps you focused, and makes even the most daunting goals achievable. The journey to success is paved with small, steady steps taken consistently, because in the end, progress is about showing up, staying committed, and taking action every day, no matter how you feel or what obstacles arise.